I like to consider myself a tool guy. I love tools, so I've compiled a list of 10 of my most useful tools. Check it out. Different tools are built for different purposes. Take this angle drill, for example. There's nothing particularly amazing about it. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. But the tools that I'm going to talk about now seem to be greater than the sum of their parts, and that's why I think they're so special. Number 1 on my list is a non-contact voltage detector. This thing is amazingly handy. So not only are you able to put it inside of outlets and see if they're live, but you're able to put this on just the wire itself. And it'll tell you if that wire is live without ever touching the wire. And a lot of you guys are going to see the obvious limitations to this tool, but I use this all the time inside actual breaker panels. So I'm able to see if the power is getting from one side of the breaker or fuse to the other side. So I can determine if I have a bad circuit breaker or fuse really quickly. And I carry this in my pocket. Extremely handy. Number 2 on my list is cordless circular saws. Now, there's nothing specific about the Milwaukee one that I find to be amazing. It's the fact that it's cordless that I love so much. You guys have probably seen people at the lumber store and they buy materials that they can't fit in their car. Now, if you don't need the material to be a specific length, you just need to get it home, you can keep one of these in your trunk and literally cut it in the parking lot. You get some weird looks when you do it, but it's super handy to have one of these. And again, it doesn't have to be Milwaukee. It just needs to be cordless. That's what I care about. Number 3 on our list is an 11-in-1 screwdriver. Now this one just so happens to be Klein, but that's kind of a coincidence. I actually use the Ace Hardware brand because the Ace Hardware brand is cheaper and you could still use the Klein bits. So what's so handy about this one, first of all, the bits are really good, but there's 2 different sizes of Phillips and flathead in here, and anytime you remove one of the tools, this becomes a nut driver. That's why it's 11 tools in one screwdriver. Immensely handy to have, and anytime where I don't have one on me, I always end up reaching for it in my pocket because there's so many times every day that you need one of these. 11-in-1 screwdriver. So good. Basically everybody has one of those blue propane torches lying around. Now I have one of those myself, but personally I prefer MAP gas. First of all, this is a lot hotter, so you're able to sweat copper fittings, so you're able to do your own plumbing in your house. But it's super hot, super good torch, and the way it starts up, I don't think I've ever pulled this trigger and had this not start up, and you can hear that the gas isn't running because this trigger actually actuates the valve. So it's not running unless you're holding the trigger down. These are so good, so handy. That's why it's number 4. Making its way to number 5 is one of the handiest tools on the list, vice grips. These ones are curved jaw for going around bolts, so you can really get a good grab on a bolt and move it without the tool slipping off. I have these in all different types of jaws, the needle nose ones, the straight jaws. I even have a little pocket size that I carry around at work. They're so handy for everything. Clamps, it's literally your third hand. Not literally. So good. You really need a set of these if you don't have them. Number 6 on your list is just your basic speed square or rafter square. First of all, these are super cheap and simple to use. Put them on the wood. Scribe your line, you got 90 degrees. They're too cheap and easy to use not to have one. A good set of drill bits can be really expensive, and a lot of those don't come with very big drill bits, which is why number 7 on our list is a set of step bits. The advantage to these is they go from small to big, all based on how far you drill into them. That's why these are so handy. They have obvious limitations, but they're number 7 on our list because they're super useful. Anybody who's ever tried to drive a screw with a drill knows how difficult it is, which is why number 8 on our list is impact drivers. First of all, these don't strip very easily. They're able to deliver a lot of driving torque, but you're able to use them for mechanical applications like removing bolts and lug nuts on your car. Immensely handy. I'm not going to say that I couldn't do my job without these, but it makes it way easier. Great tool. I'm not normally brand specific to any tools, but by far my favorite tape measure is your Stanley Fat Max. First of all, it's really easy to use. I love how it's fat, that's why they call it that. But they last a long time as a really high quality tape measure. Now just for frame of reference, they make a 6-foot one. This isn't the exact one, but I've had one of these in my pocket for years. The fact that it's lasted that long speaks to the longevity of this tool. These are just so well made. And I think these are $10, these little ones. So handy. You gotta have one. Now, number 10 on our list, I think is arguably the most valuable tool I have in my shop. Not in terms of cost, but in terms of how often I use it and how handy it is. An angle grinder. Now, for somebody who doesn't have a bandsaw or a metal saw or a belt sander. This is all of those things. It is so useful. You're able to cut steel, aluminum, you're able to polish, you're able to clean up stuff, deburr. One of the most valuable tools you can have. And this was 15 bucks at Harbor Freight. I am not sponsored by Harbor Freight, but that is a really good deal. And if you can't afford a lot of other tools, this should be the first on your list. Obviously, there's going to be better ones that are more expensive, but for 15 bucks, you're able to get started doing metal fabrication and working on general projects around the house. If you work on cars, you basically can't do it without one of these. That's why this is easily one of the most valuable tools somebody like me can have. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this list. I hope you learned something or found this to be interesting. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. And thanks always for doing your part to help make this world a strange place.